Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt.
Hi, this is Zobble1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox version on Legacy. And today you're going to watch me res hunt with a couple of clips I got sent by the Xbox leader of Code. So, and some chat between him and somebody who decided to combat log on him. So, be warned.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Now, since being sent the clips, I managed to get in party chat with the gentleman in question and ask him a few questions and ask his point of view of the situation. I asked him what his take was, and his take was he didn't give me permission to use the clips. So, there you go, no video. No, in all seriousness, I don't need his permission to show clips. That's how Xbox works, and that's how YouTube works. As long as I'm not referring to him the person, only him the gamer tag, it's not a problem. And I'm sorry, if you cheat in a multiplayer video game online, you have no right to privacy. Sorry. Now, he claims that Provost is a ganker. Now, I'm putting up terms as to what a ganker is. Basically, gang killing, to gank someone or grief someone, I think would take more than just a 1v1 attack or a random encounter in Elite Dangerous. In fact, Starro, I remember, asked FDev support if killing someone in open counted as griefing, and they replied no. And the forums went nuts saying that FDev were wrong, which just shows you the state of the Care Bearness. But here he is saying he doesn't play with gankers after he logged on Provost. However, he provides no proof to back up his claim or assertion that Provost is a ganker. He then goes on later, much later in this conversation, to say that Provost was the sort of type that go after easy targets, shieldless ships, which defies what Provost is doing, which Provost was attacking a dangerous frag member sat at the start, not a soft target. So like I say, to gank someone, to grief someone, and ganking requires more than just a random encounter and a fight. Now, Provost is a PvPer, he was looking for a PvP fight, he saw what seemed to be a PvP ready ship, he dropped in, shot at him, the guy then logged, with full shields. Made no attempt to jump out, no attempt to run away and jump out, and no attempt to fight back. Just logged, claiming that Provost was a ganker, with no proof or evidence, which is a little bit odd. It's got to be said. Normally, before reaching for the cheat button, people do other things. And as we all know, when it comes to online video games, there is no love lost for cheating. In an online video game, well, I'll let Falcon say it because he says it much better than me.
There are losers, there are idiots, and then there are people who use cheats in video games.
And ironically, the only thing you can do in Elite Dangerous is really considered cheating by anyone, really, is that combat log. You're basically taking advantage of the peer-to-peer network, you're not exiting through the menu, you're dashboarding or terminating your connection with the game instantly, which is taking advantage of an unintended exploit and part of the peer-to-peer nature of the game. It's basically rage quitting and dashboarding, which is unfortunately very common in our society. People like, for some reason, don't want to lose their pixels, or in this case the person's claim he's trolling griefers, but like, if you're trolling griefers by making yourself look like a pathetic cheat, I think you're really just trolling yourself, because no one's gonna care what Provost is up to when you're the one cheating. And all Provost was doing was attacking a dangerous frag member that you even told me was fully engineered. So, the mind is blown as to how you think that is a gank. But anyway, let's sit back now and enjoy. This is actually the second clip, but it's the one I'm putting in first of him logging. So he logged on Provost first, then he jumped back in, and then he waited in low space, and as soon as Provost dropped in, he logged again to troll Provost. Now, I'll be honest, I've been in the game since day one of the preview program. I've seen a lot of loggers come and go in my time, and it was a very interesting party chat I got involved in with these guys. I found out afterwards that a few of them have been guilty of logging, according to groups like TOC. In fact, TOC got a mention. They were like, if we see those toxic guys, we log immediately. And I was like, do you mean TOCX? Is that who you're thinking of toxic? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, ah. So a shame really, because considering I am obviously the most toxic person in the game, as we all know, it's disappointing to hear that they're getting the label toxic. Me and Meta Orange once did think about calling ourselves the Toxic Avengers as a new wing that we were going to form. But yeah, logging on somebody is not trolling them. It's you that are going to get tarnished with the brush of being a logger. Provost doesn't really care. I mean, it's a PvP fight he didn't have. It's someone, you know, logging on him instantly. It's a bit embarrassing and cringy, but it's only pixels. It's only a game. Like, all you have to do is highway to another system, drop down, and exit the game through the menu, and you're fine. Nobody's going to care. If you don't want to fight people, you really don't have to in Elite Dangerous. The time to kill is so long, takes such an amount of time to kill someone, you have plenty of time to escape. Generally, it's quite hard to get a kill in Elite Dangerous if the other person doesn't fight to the death.
He's gone.
At the point someone's sending these sort of messages, yeah, you know that really says it all. He's made massive assumptions about the person attacking him, then combat logged, and then had to claim the person's a griefer or a ganker to justify logging on him, which I'm afraid is totally incorrect. You happen to pick someone who's just a PvPer. Now his argument was, the guy didn't message me beforehand, and if it happened in real life, you know, I'm sorry, but people who murder people in real life do not tend to message them beforehand and say, yo, do you mind if I just shoot you? You know, I mean, we in the Dark Marauders send die imp die, kind of, you know, like, or die bounty hunter die, but that's our weird roleplay. No, I can't think of many other groups that message. But Provost, ironically, you're saying this guy doesn't roleplay and doesn't do this and doesn't do that and is a ganker. He's actually the Xbox leader of the oldest roleplay pirate faction in the game, and one with a very strict code of conduct, because it's so strict they even name themselves the code. Which includes no seal clubbing, and so yeah, and you're certainly at dangerous above the rank requirements for a PvP target in any group. There isn't a single group out there in open that wouldn't consider you a legitimate PvP target and jump in and just start shooting you. If you're in the open environment, you're consenting to PvP to start with. That's the point of playing in open. You're consenting to play in Elite Dangerous in open, hence the word dangerous. And FDev have stated, killing people in open isn't griefing. It takes way more than that to be considered griefing. You know, shooting at people is in the game. I spent 3 years playing as a pacifist trader, and like, I was interdicted and attacked countless times. All I did was high wake away. You know, it's not that difficult. You just plot, jump, escape. Yee. Then I used to low wake and then send passive aggressive messages telling them their witch ship was weak because they couldn't kill a type 7. Generally only do that if you're safe. Normally I say when you're back on the landing pad it's safe to do that. Or where they can't get to you, or where you're sure they can't get to you. But this person said to me that Provost didn't message, and that was his justification, so there was no roleplay. That he logs on griefers, even though he couldn't prove or provide any proof that of his accusations that Provost is a griefer. You know, which is bizarre to say the least. Then he went with my classic favourite chestnut. This one's an old one I haven't heard in a long time as an excuse from a combat logger, which was, it wasn't combat because he wasn't shooting, which FDev do cover. It's combat from the point of interdiction. Once you're in low space of another ship and you're hostile, either one of you, you're in combat. If you're not in combat, can you please explain to me how a combat correspondent works? Because they just take photographs, they don't shoot at anyone, so according to your logic, they're never in combat. I'll be honest, I was interdicted loads back in the day in my Type 7, and I was attacked by many people who tried to kill me. I never once used the lame-ass excuse that I wasn't firing back, because I understood that from FDev's point of view and the game's point of view, you're in combat once they interdict you. That's the initiation of combat. As the statement says from Sandy Samarco about combat logging, it includes the interdiction. So I'm sorry, the whole I'm not shooting back thing is just baloney and no one cares. Like, I was in a Type 7 and I never shot back. You're in a frag mamba, you had ample time to escape if you didn't want to fight. The fact that you resorted to cheating, here's the second clip by the way, instead of doing anything else speaks volumes. And him and his party were like, this is the sort of thing that doesn't make people want to play in open, and I couldn't agree more. Cheating is something that doesn't, like, people in open don't like. And if you don't want to do combat, if you don't want to be attacked by random people, stay in private group or solo and get the fuck out of open. We do not want cheats in open. I've said it many times. I would prefer there's nobody in the game if all that's left is cheats. Cheats are pointless and a waste of time for everybody. They can go away and play in private group and solo where they don't have to cheat. You know, if you can't take being attacked randomly by someone, don't play in open. It's simple as that. If you're selecting the open mode, you are giving your consent to play in that environment how it is, how FDev designed it to be. You don't make the rules. You don't get to choose when and where you get to cheat. I'm going to cheat if someone's ganking me. No, you're cheating. It doesn't matter what you're cheating for. It doesn't matter the purpose of your cheating. You're the cheat. And we don't want you on our game, because cheats are, I'm afraid to say it, scum. Get out. Bye bye. Go. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I mean, pretty much. Now, I'm of the belief that cheats can make amends for their actions, and some of my favourite PvPers out there are reformed cheats. I'm not going to mention any names. They know who they are. But honestly, you can make amends and, you know, restore your reputation. But if you are going to continue to cheat in this manner, oh, hang on a minute. I've just got to make way for the Kevin Spacey clip.
He's gone.
Funniest part is the guy didn't like me calling him a cheat, even though he is clearly a cheat and cheated multiple times. As per the statement from FDev, who make the rules of the game and decide what is and isn't cheating. And you know what isn't cheating? Ganking in open. It's not cheating. People are free to gank other ships. If you're being harassed and pursued and really it gets unpleasant, that would be something you can go to FDev about and would be considered rude. But certainly, Provost isn't a ganker. You cheated on him a couple of times. You know, if you want to restore your reputation, I would recommend apologising to him and taking the rebuy, or arranging something like a duel with him to settle things. You know, some such. At least try and make that reparation. Because you're clearly in the wrong about him being a ganker unless you have masses of evidence that I'm not aware of the leader of code on Xbox being some sort of horrific ganker. I mean, the whole comment about him choosing easy targets and being the sort of person who would kill poor shieldless noobs, why would he be attacking a dangerous frag mamba at the star and not attacking your friends that were in Type 9s? Like, really? And, you know, he was flying escort for his friends. Well, it's not really much of an escort if you're going to combat log at the first sign of someone attacking you. And as Provost says, I wholeheartedly agree with what Provost has said here. He is not a ganker by any stretch of the imagination, and even if he was, it doesn't justify cheating. I'm sorry to say, it's the open environment, anything goes. If you don't like that, if you can't cope with that, if that's too much for you, then stick to solo or PG. Because as I've said, we honestly don't want cheats in open. We would prefer it if you stuck to private group or solo, you know, if you're going to continue this sort of behaviour. And yeah, I would rather see the game die than let it be overrun by cheats. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and thank you very much to Provost for providing me with this content. And yes, and to the gentleman, please flag this video, because yes, I have used the clips that you said you expressly forbid me from using. But that's tough. So that's all. Thank you very much for watching.